Hello everyone, welcome to week 8 lecture videos. Our today's topic is capital budgeting practices, and we will be covering two chapters today, chapter 10 and chapter 12. So we start with chapter 10 first of all. Chapter 10 deals with project analysis. A little background first of all. Having read our earlier chapters on capital budgeting, you may have concluded that the choice of which projects to accept or reject is a simple one. What we just need to draw up a set of cash flow forecasts, choose a right discount rate, find out the net present value. However, finding projects that create value for the shareholders can never be such a mechanical exercise. Investment proposals may emerge from many different parts of the organizations, so companies need procedures to ensure that every project is assessed consistently. So in this chapter, our first task is to review how firms develop plans and budgets for capital investments and how they authorize specific projects and how they check whether projects perform as expected. When managers are presented with investment proposals, it's not necessary they accept the cash forecasts at the face value or as they proposed. Instead, they try to understand what makes a project keep going and what could go wrong with it. Once you know what makes a project tick, you may be able to reconfigure it to improve its chances of success. And if you understand why the venture could fail, you could decide whether it is worth trying to rule out the possible causes of failure. Maybe further expenditure on market research could clear up those doubts about acceptance by consumers. If a project really has a negative NPV, the sooner you can identify, the better it is. And even if you decide that it is worth going ahead without further analysis, you do not want to caught up by surprise if things go wrong later. So what you want to know? You want to know the danger signals and actions that you might need to take. Our second task in this chapter is to show how managers use different procedures to handle uncertainty. So we will be talking about sensitivity analysis, break-even analysis, and Monte Carlo simulation to identify the crucial assumptions in investment proposal and to explore what can go wrong. Keep it in mind that there is no magic in these techniques to find out a project that deals uncertainty in a better way. Just their computer assisted common sense. You do not need a license to use them. Just a reminder that discounted cash flow analysis commonly assumes that companies hold assets passively and it ignores the opportunities to expand the project if it is successful or to bail out if it is not successful. However, wise managers recognize these opportunities when considering whether to invest. They look for ways to capitalize on success and to reduce the costs of failure. They are prepared to pay up for projects that give them up this flexibility. So, discussing these real options and flexibility associated with the projects is our third task in this chapter. So to specify our learning objectives today, we will be discussing investment process, and we will be talking about how to handle uncertainty, particularly with respect to sensitivity analysis, scenario analysis, break-even analysis, and as I also mentioned just a few moments back, that we will be talking about the flexibilities and real options associated with a project. So first of all is the capital investment process. Keep it in mind that for most firms, the investment process starts with the preparation of an annual capital budget, which is essentially a list of investment projects planned for the coming year. So most firms let project proposals coming up from the different sections of the company and review by divisional management, and then from divisions for review by senior managements and their planning staff. Of course, middle managers cannot identify all worthwhile projects. For example, the managers of Plant A and Plant B cannot be expected to see the potential economies of scale closing their plants and consolidating production at a new plant let's say C. Divisional managers would propose Plan C, but the managers of Divisions 1 and 2 may not be eager to give up their own computers to a corporation-wide information system. That proposal would come from senior management, for example, a company's chief information officer. Inconsistent assumptions often make our investment projects complicated. For example, suppose the manager of a furniture division is bullish on the housing starts, but the manager of the appliance division is bearish. The furniture division may push for a major reinvestment in new facilities, whereas the appliance division may propose a plan for retrenchment. That's why it would be better if both managers could agree on a common estimate of housing starts and based on their investment proposals. That is why many firms begin the capital budgeting process by establishing consensus forecasts of economic indicators, for example, inflation and growth in national income, as well as forecasts of particular items that are important to the firm's business, for example, housing or the prices of raw materials. These forecasts are then used as the basis for capital budgeting across the divisions. Preparation of capital budget is now rigid, bureaucratic exercise. There is a plenty of give and take and back and forth. Divisional managers negotiate with plan managers and fine-tune the division's list of projects. The final capital budget must also reflect the corporation's strategic planning. The strategic planners takes a top-down view of the company. It attempts to identify businesses where the company has a competitive advantage. It also attempts to identify businesses that should be sold or allowed to run down. So with regard to project authorization, you need to understand that once the capital budget has been approved by top management and board of directors, it is the official plan for the ensuing year. However, it is not the final sign off for a specific projects. For most companies, it requires an appropriation request for each proposal. These requests essentially include detailed forecasts, discounted cash flow analysis, and backup information. The centralized decision making brings some problems. For example, senior management can process detailed information about hundreds of projects and may rely on forecasts put together by project sponsors. A smart manager quickly learns to worry whether these forecasts are realistic or not. Even when forecasts are not considered inflated, errors can be a common one. For example, most people tend to be overconfident when they forecast. Events they think are almost certain to occur may actually end up only 80% of the time. And events they believe they're impossible may happen 20% of the time. Therefore, project risks are understated. We can expect plant or division managers to look on the bright side when putting forward the investment proposal. So it's probably impossible to eliminate this bias completely by senior managers. However, they should take care not to encourage it. I mean, inflating the project proposals. For example, if managers believe that success depends on having the largest division rather than on the most profitable one, they will propose large expansion projects that they do not truly believe have positive NPVs. Sometimes senior managers try to offset bias by increasing the hurdle rate for capital expenditure. Suppose the true cost of capital is 10%, but the CFO is frustrated by the large fraction of the projects that don't earn 10%. She therefore directs project sponsor to use a 15% discount rate. Say it's a more conservative discount rate to accept or reject a project decision. We also need to go for post audits. Many firms keep a check on the progress of large projects by conducting post audits shortly after the projects have begun to operate. Post audits identify problems that need fixing, check the accuracy of forecasts, and suggest questions that should have been asked before the project was undertaken. So that's our end of our discussion for this part. Please watch the next part for our other discussion.